I joked about trading my husband. The room fell silent, the kind of silence that feels like a scream trapped in your throat. My wine glass trembled in my hand, the crimson liquid sloshing against the rim as I stared at David, my husband of 12 years, his face pale as frost. The words I tossed out so carelessly, "Oh, maybe I'll trade you in for a newer model," hung in the air like smoke, curling around the laughter of our friends until it choked them into stillness. His eyes, usually warm like cedarwood, were wide, unblinking, fixed on me as if I'd just plunged a knife into his chest. The clink of silverware stopped. The jazz humming from the speakers seemed to mock the moment. I forced a laugh, trying to pull the room back from the edge, but David's lips parted, and what came out wasn't a quip or a deflection. It was a whisper, barely audible, yet it shattered everything. "You don't know how close you are." My heart stuttered. I set the glass down, the base scraping against the mahogany table, and searched his face for a hint of humor. There was none. Our friends, Lila and Mark, Sarah and Tom, shifted uncomfortably, their eyes darting to their plates, the napkins, anywhere but to us. I wanted to rewind, to swallow the joke, to unsee the flicker of guilt in David's gaze. But the moment was a splinter, lodged deep, and I could feel the sting spreading. The dinner dragged on, a charade of small talk and forced smiles. Lila complimented the roasted lamb, her voice too bright, like glass about to crack. Mark asked David about his latest project, but David's answers were clipped, his fork pushing food around his plate untouched. I watched him, my mind clawing for explanations. Was it the late nights at the office? The way his phone buzzed at 2 a.m., screen angled away from me? I'd laughed those off, told myself it was work, stress, the grind of his promotion. But now, each memory felt like a breadcrumb leading somewhere dark. After they left, the house was too quiet, the kind of quiet that amplifies every creak, every breath. I stood at the sink, scrubbing plates, the hot water scalded my hands, grounding me in the pain. David lingered in the dining room, his silhouette framed by the dim chandelier light. "What did you mean?" I asked, my voice steady despite the tremor in my chest. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he poured another whiskey, the amber liquid glinting like a warning. "It was nothing," he said finally, but his tone was hollow, like he was reading lines he didn't believe. I toned, drying my hands, the dish towel twisting between my fingers. "David, don't lie to me." My voice cracked, betraying the calm I was fighting for. He looked at me then, really looked, and I saw it, a flicker of something raw, something he'd been hiding. Guilt? Fear? Love? I couldn't tell. "It's not what you think," he said, but the words were a flimsy shield, and I was already swinging. "Then what is it?" I stepped closer, the space between us electric with unspoken truths. His jaw tightened, and for a moment I thought he'd break, spill everything. Instead, he turned away, his shoulders slumping like a man carrying a weight too heavy to hold. "I'm tired, Ellie. Let's not do this tonight." But I couldn't let it go. The next morning, I found his phone on the counter, unlocked, a rare slip. My hands shook as I opened his messages. There it was, a name I didn't know, Claire. Text from weeks ago, months even, laced with familiarity, late-night confessions, words that lovers share in secret. "Miss you already. Can't stop thinking about last night." My knees buckled, and I gripped the counter, the cold granite biting into my palms. The betrayal wasn't just in the words. It was in the life I hadn't seen, the one he'd built without me. I confronted him that evening, the phone in my hand like evidence in a trial. His face crumpled, not with denial, but with surrender. "It's not love," he said, his voice breaking. "It was a mistake, Ellie, a moment of weakness." But his excuses felt like salt in a wound. A moment? Months of lies weren't a moment. I wanted to scream, to throw the phone, to unravel the life we'd woven together. Instead, I asked a question that had haunted me since last night. "Why didn't you stop?" He looked at me, eyes glistening, and said, "Because I didn't know how to come back to you." The words hit like a physical blow, stealing my breath. I saw us then, our late-night talks, our shared dreams, the way we'd laugh through the chaos of life. Had it all been a lie? Or had we drifted so far that he'd found someone else to anchor him? I didn't cry. Not then. I walked out, leaving him in the wreckage of our dining room, the same place where my careless joke had cracked open the truth. As I stood on the porch, the night air sharp against my skin, I realized the betrayal wasn't just his. I'd ignored the signs, the late night, the distance, because believing in us was easier than facing the truth. The twist wasn't that he'd cheated. It was that I'd let him.